If you go on X or any other social media site where people are talking about the AI race right now, you're going to find a lot of people who are talking about Google being in last place, making jokes, making fun of them, as though Google does not still have the ability to leap back in the first place very quickly and easily. And I think it's because people are overlooking the several different assets that Google has in play that if they put it all together, and I did a video about this, but if they put it all together, they could create one of the most popular, powerful, and also profitable AI applications that is on the market. When you look at desktop applications like the ChatGPT desktop app and Codex and ChatGPT work and the things that it's able to do, it is a great application. It's very intelligent, but let's just look at the capabilities for a moment. So of course you have ChatGPT voice. They have the best voice in the game. Google has the second best voice. Anthropic comes in third place. Their voice has this weird ASMR thing where it starts whispering to you after a little while. But then what ChatGPT has is an actual browser. So now I can open this browser and I can click these three dots. I can import cookies and passwords from my Chrome browser, and I can use a browser right here inside of the ChatGPT desktop app. And I do believe that when I use this browser, it does not consume my usage credits. At least it shouldn't, because they do have the Atlas browser as well. But Google has Google Chrome still. They still have Google Chrome, right? So what are some other things that you can do inside of ChatGPT? You can create Google Docs, you can create Google Slides, you can create PowerPoint, you can create images, all of these different types of content, and you can do some of those inside of Claude as well. And if we come over to Claude, one of the main things with Claude is Claude Code. And this is probably one of the biggest hurdles that Google needs to get over if they're ever going to create that super app. And that's the ability to code well. Even though ChatGPT outranks Claude Code in some benchmarks, a lot of people still prefer Claude for coding, even though Codex is very popular in the developer community with software engineers, vibe coders, and all the like. But you don't even hear Google when it comes to coding. And so they have to get serious about getting good at code. So when you look at code work, you can do a lot of the same things that you can do in ChatGPT. You can create certain types of images because Claude really doesn't do image generation, doesn't do it well at all when it does do it, but it can do PowerPoint presentations, it can do Google Docs, and it can do artifacts in general. But if we come over to Notebook LM and we look at the AI Studio, they can do everything that Claude and ChatGPT can do, but they can also do audio overview. You can generate a full 44-minute podcast that will give you clarity around any topic you imagine. But then you have the mind map. You have slide decks, which can obviously compete. And in my opinion, slide decks are better than PowerPoints. The only thing I would request, and I would even pay more for this, I would like sign up for a separate individual Gemini Notebook plan just for Gemini Notebook if I had more control over the actual slide deck, because I know this costs Google. So I wouldn't mind paying more money if I knew, okay, when I create my slides, it's not going to choose how many slides it automatically gives me. Like right now, if I generate a slide deck based on the length, short or default, it's going to choose 12 to however many slides. But if I could just open the end up on this, like say, okay, I could generate up to 25 or 30 slides or 50 slides or whatever, I would definitely pay for this, because right now you have to generate a couple different slide decks and then just base it on the sources. But if they gave us more control over slide decks, that's a game winner. But then you have video overviews. You can generate videos. You can generate reports. Now the reports button all by itself, just this one single tab covers most of the artifacts that you generate with Claude Code Work and with ChatGPT Work, like right here. Then you have flashcards. None of the other models give you this type of interactivity right here, where I can generate a set of flashcards and then test my knowledge about the subject in real time. So This is great, not just for learning, but if you're a business professional and you want to make sure you understand something, you can generate a quick set of flashcards. And if someone from ChatGPT or Claude is watching this, like, they've been just overlooking Gemini Notebook, but I feel like Gemini Notebook, if Gemini Notebook would receive the capabilities that these desktop apps have. Like if I had the ability to download a Gemini Notebook desktop app that had file access, right? It's powered by anti-gravity 3.5 already, but if somehow they were able to merge those and this app had file access, and of course it's going to have usage just like those apps as well, just like anti-gravity already has, this would be a very serious contender just because of the artifacts, because their architecture, the architecture with this RAG system is just, in my opinion, RAG just has some very powerful benefits for business owners who need to get things right. It's good that ChatGPT and Claude are very smart and they're intelligent and they can process at least Claude a 1 million token context window. But the RAG system and the citations, it just gives you more trust in the results. And that's what people in business and enterprise want more than anything. Nobody wants to deal with an AI that's hallucinating or that's telling you, oh, you're right to push back on that. I shouldn't have said this. I should have said this. And you're right. That was wrong. And this was right. Nobody wants that. And you hardly ever run into that with Gemini Notebook just because it's so on point. Then we have the infographics, right? So once again, with the infographics right here, you choose a visual style. And something I'm going to tell you right now that's pretty much going to sum up everything I could possibly say about the AI Studio is that right now, the AI Studio is so constrained, in the next move for Gemini Notebook that would take this app, this interface that Google has put their stamp on. It's Gemini Notebook now. It's to take the handcuffs off, take the gloves off, give users more control, make it a part of the paid plan. I will gladly pay for access to all of this without the constraints. I shouldn't have to choose between landscape, portrait, or square. I should be able to just drop in my prompt just like any regular Nano Banana prompt and allow it to generate the image right here based on the sources. Now, when you start thinking about this here, the potential for creating marketing assets, advertising assets to run your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads, it's just exponential. It's out of this world. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, well, you can download your files and you can do that inside of ChatGPT and you can do it inside of Claude. You absolutely can. But what they're not going to tell you, especially with Claude, is those local conversations, and I know they're testing conversations in the cloud, because those local conversations will eat up the memory on your machine. Like the storage is what I mean, not the memory, the storage on your machine. They're going to eat it up because they're stored right there. And then on X, they're talking about right now with the Codex or ChatGPT Work app that it's doing a lot of writing to the SSD. And so SSDs, basically their life cycle is based on how many times you write to them. And so it's writing and it's doing a lot of other technical stuff that I'm not as fluent with as I used to be, but something I need to check out. Either way, everyone's confirmed that something's going on where it's basically working these hardware components a lot. And so the ideal position is to be able to work in the cloud. I don't have to store it on my machine. Google hosts it for me. I uploaded a notebook LM. I'm good to go. So I can do that right now. I can take a notebook, a Gemini Notebook. I can upload sources, but they still have to be documents. I can't upload code yet, even though they say Gemini Notebook can code now, which is kind of weird to me because I can't upload HTML. I can't upload .json files, but I can upload regular text files and, dockets and the other things you see here, PDF, etc. And then we have data tables, which can obviously export to Google Sheets, which is essentially the free version of Microsoft Excel. All of the Microsoft Excel formulas and things you can set up inside of Google Sheets as well. And I'm just sitting here looking at the AI Studio thinking, yes, this is an AI Studio, but these are artifacts. And not only are these artifacts, but these artifacts are better than Claude and ChatGPT's artifacts. The only place where I would give those other two platforms the edge is with the quality of their outputs because of the intelligence of their models. So number one, Gemini Notebook has to eventually become powered by a more capable model. And as someone pointed out recently, all Google's been focusing on is really getting these smaller models up to speed. For instance, if you look at 3.6 Flash, you can see that it scores a 1421 on the GDP val. This is for knowledge work. And it outperforms 3.1 Pro, which scored a 965. Now, you got to think about this here. 3.1 Pro was the model, I believe, that ChatGPT or Sam Altman at least came out, saying that, hey, they created a good model. This was when they first put a chink in OpenAI's armor before Claude came through about a month later and wiped the floor with everybody. But essentially, what they're showing is that they're able to create small, fast models that outperform this pro model. Now, a lot of people are testing this and they have their different opinions and videos they're making about it. I'm not contesting any of that. But so far, what we see Google doing is trying to make these smaller, less expensive models better. I don't know what they're doing in the background. I know they're spending money on R&D for A&R research like everyone else. But these are the models that power Gemini Notebook, that create these artifacts, that do the reasoning. And so they have to become better, or they have to finally release their big model that can power this and create these artifacts. And I just don't know where Google is going with all of this. If we come over here to Google Labs, this is where Google basically runs their experiments before they give these tools a final home. And one of those experiments was Notebook LM. Another one is Pomeli, where you can create on-brand marketing content for your business. Pomeli should just blend right into Gemini Notebook. Then you have Google Flow, where you can generate these super realistic videos that I believe will one day probably compete with things like Seed Dance and these other viral video generators. But Google is going slow, and everybody's wondering, well, Google's behind, they're losing the AI race. But what they don't realize is that Google is a profitable company. They can't just get out here and start burning through cash, throwing everything they have at AI. They are more than an AI company. They have their hands in so many different things. It's not just the artifacts that they have. They have Stitch. Stitch is the precursor to Claude Design. And essentially what these companies are doing is they're looking at every market where billions of dollars are being made, and they're trying to capture a part of that. And they know that places like Canva, Figma attract a lot of money. And this platform right here, this is a great platform to use because it allows you to build out entire landing pages and with meticulous long prompts. This platform does give you the control I wish we had inside of Gemini Notebook. But there's so much you can do here. You can actually lay out your app. Let's say you're designing an app. You can generate your entire flow board here where you look at what each button goes to. You have your entire brand laid out with your colors, your fonts, and everything you're using. It's such a well put together platform. In my opinion, it's better than Claude Design. I've tried to use Claude Design. It's very difficult for me to move around it. I don't like it. Plus, you burn a lot of credits using it, even though it's on a separate meter, but I like Stitch better. And if you see a design that you like, you can just remix it. But once again, this is just something else that's in Google's arsenal that they can pull out, that they can integrate into their super app at any time to create a clean, single user interface that completely washes Claude or ChatGPT. Like, they have the potential to jump back in this thing eventually when they get ready. Then you have Google Flow Music. So you can not only create designs, but you can create music. Now, a lot of people aren't interested in music, especially businesses. They don't want to create music, but I know a lot of people personally who find this very interesting, who like Suno and these other AI platforms where you can generate music, and music is a very big industry. Now, creating music with Google Flow Music or Lyra or any of those other things might not be interesting to you. But one thing about it is this: if they have a model that's great at creating music, how much more is that training going to be able to help their voice models at just holding a regular conversation? So even with OpenAI's GPT Live model right now, which I believe is the number one leaps and bounds ahead of everybody, I do believe, just looking at Google and the things they have going on over there, that eventually, if they want to, if they really put the effort into it, and I'm not saying they're not putting effort into it, they can catch up with anybody. I don't think anyone in this AI race, specifically OpenAI, Claude, or even Grok, are untouchable. I don't think anyone has this lead where it's like, oh, Google is just out of it. Google, we can't touch them. Like even Meta put out a model this week that's better than Opus 4.8, Muse 1.1. The only thing I don't like about Meta is that they bunch everything under Facebook and Instagram, and I'd rather just use a model that's separate. I don't want it tied to my social media, or I have to have a social media account just to use it. So when most people look at Google, they see them in the moment of weakness. They see something to ridicule and laugh. But me personally, I just see them taking their time, because I've said this before, and I even made a post on X before they made the name change, where I tagged Google, Google Drive, and a lot of other departments at Google talking about this, because especially with Drive, they have the ecosystem to sync devices across both the desktop app and the mobile device. Google has all the parts and pieces in place. And I don't think OpenAI, Claude, or Grok look at them and see someone to ridicule or to think, oh, we've got it made, because Google can absolutely create something special for the desktop or a new experience for people with better artifacts whenever they get ready. And because of their audience size, their position in the market, they're able to offer those benefits at scale. And if their Flash models keep performing the way they are, these small, fast, and inexpensive models, they can offer more compute, faster compute, with the same level of intelligence as the other platforms. And that's what a lot of people are missing. Right now, the usage limits are burning so fast on Codex and ChatGPT Soul, and they're burning fast on Claude as well. And that's after waiting for these models like Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 Soul to think for 15 to 30 minutes to give you a response. The same response that Gemini Notebook, because of its RAG architecture, can give you in about 5 to 15 seconds. And I'm not lying. I'm not making stuff up. This is just things I've tested. And even though the model powering Gemini Notebook isn't as powerful as those other models, for a lot of people, it's going to be good enough. There's going to be a certain level of intelligence where, for businesses, having a newer, brighter, more intelligent model isn't necessarily going to create a better business result. You still have to do a lot of other different things to actually grow the business that go beyond just having a great AI model. But all said and done, just to wrap this up, don't count Google out. And don't be surprised if you start seeing people who are Claude pilled or ChatGPT pilled suddenly start saying, oh, you know what, man? Google has this new insane app, because I'm telling you, it's coming. It may be a year before it happens, but eventually I do believe they're going to release their own super app version. And when they do, it's going to compete, if not outright wash the floor with every app that we're using right now. In my opinion, all they need is a smarter model, get better at coding, and find some type of way to bring all of these different platforms together in a way that's easy to understand and simple to use. Because right now, they are all over the place. They have so many different platforms. But if they can create a clean user interface where we can create all of these different artifacts that are already inside of Gemini Notebook based on our uploaded data, and give us more control inside of that artifact studio, you can definitely expect to see a lot more people switch their subscriptions over from the $200 a month with these other companies to the Google AI Ultra plan. And if I'm not mistaken, I think with the Ultra plan that Google includes YouTube Premium, and they include a Google Home subscription. And I don't know about you, but those are definitely some good bonuses to have if you're already paying $200 a month. I get YouTube Premium with it. Right? I really hope someone at Google sees this video and shares it with their boss or someone who needs to know. But those are just my thoughts about the whole situation. If you got any value out of the video and you're on mobile, hype the video, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know. Would you like to use a Gemini or a Google super app that combines search, Chrome, Stitch, all of these other apps, Gemini Notebook into one interface where you could generate all of these artifacts, do all of this work? Let me know in the comments. And as always, take care, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.